the text and the typing. Good morning and welcome back to the program. Today we are joined by attorney John Pontius, and John, I'm going to apologize out of the gate if I said that incorrectly. John is working in a firm in Rockville. John is an attorney and has an extensive knowledge on tax law, including federal audits, offers and compromise, and trust fund recovery. John will be talking to us this morning about his two upcoming seminars on getting tax documents from Uncle Sam and techniques for maximizing charitable giving. But before we have John join us, I want to give a few updates. The IRS has opened the portal for you to renew your PTIN. As you know, there is no fee attached to renewing your PTIN information, but this must be completed by December 31st, 2018 for the 2018 tax year. Anyone who prepares or helps prepare any federal tax return or claims for refund for compensation must have a valid PTIN from the IRS. The PTIN must be used as an identifying number when returns prepared. Failure to use a valid PTIN may result in penalties. So to begin the process of your renewal, we'll be posting up the website for the IRS PTIN renewal. So at this time, I want to have John join us. Good morning, John. Are you there? John is joining us from Rockville.
Good morning, Sandy.
There he is. Hi, John.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. John, I know you have two great seminars coming up with us in the next month and a half, and I wanted us to break down the presentations for each of these seminars. On November 7th, you will be presenting for MSA a seminar on getting tax documents for Uncle Sam. Can you share with the audience what they will learn about on this 2-hour program?
Absolutely. So for that first presentation, I'll be doing getting documents from Uncle Sam. I will be reviewing the Privacy Act that explains the confidentiality of tax information that the Internal Revenue Service keeps, as well as Internal Revenue Code Section 6103, which explains the disclosure requirements and limitations for the IRS giving tax documents to taxpayers, as well as to third-party representatives. And then the second half of that presentation, we'll go into the logistics of how to officially request information from the IRS, review powers of attorneys forms, and then it reviews the basic types of information one would want to gather on a typical tax case. Documents such as IRS tax transcripts, requested case files, as well as Freedom of Information Act requests and potential appeals for a denied Freedom of Information Act request.
Great. That's wonderful. It sounds like it's going to be really a great program. Now, I know that you really were not the one out of the gate for this program, that you're stepping in as a sub because our original speaker just had a baby. Well, I want to just note that I want to send my congratulations to Giovanni. And also, I want to thank you for stepping in and helping us out on this presentation at the last moment. Thank you so much.
Oh, it's my pleasure. This is Giovanni and I have similar practices, and this is the type of work that I do on a daily basis. So I can share, of course, the law, but also during the presentation, sort of share the practical side of this, as well as answer any questions practitioners have, because this is a very important topic.
Yes, and I'll tell you, this is one that is going to be very useful, as you said, for the practitioners, because this is really a good part of a lot of people's practices, is getting information from Uncle Sam. On December 17th, we're going to be presenting a seminar on charitable giving that you're going to be doing. And this actually is a seminar and a webinar. So you're going to be, again, on the face, on the computer. Can you give us some topics that you'll be covering during this 2-hour presentation?
Absolutely. I'll give you a brief overview here. There's going to be 4 general topics that I'll be speaking on. The first one is going to be basically the historical annual charitable giving and the tax implications of that. Big picture, because of changes in the tax law, it seems that there's going to be a decrease in charitable contributions in this country from perhaps $410 billion down to around $390 billion because of these changes of law. So the bigger part of my presentation will go into the effects of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017 on charitable giving. As a high-level overview, those changes include doubling of the standard deduction from individuals and married filing jointly, as well as all different statuses of taxpayers. So with the larger standard deduction, there's going to be less folks itemizing. And as a result, perhaps that'll have a negative impact on charitable contributions, as well as the Tax Cut and Jobs Act limiting local tax deductions. One thing to remember, all charitable contributions are going to need to be substantiated, and there's been no changes in the substantiation rules. Third topic I'll be talking about is the actions for maximizing charitable contributions, and those include bunching, which is keeping tax deductions sort of saved up for one big year in which it would go larger than your standard deduction to maximize the deductions. We'll on qualified charitable contributions, charitable remainder trusts, and charitable annuities. The last topic I'll be talking on during the presentation is leveraging whole life insurance in charitable giving, retirement, and estate planning. So that's a general overview of some bit of a technical topic.
Well, that's a more than general overview. That's a lot of information. That is amazing. So I'll tell you, that's going to be a full 2 hours. I mean, a full 2 hours. Now, as a person who deals with the IRS on a recurring basis, can you share a couple stories or pitfalls that with the audience on what you've experienced dealing with them, and good or bad? And hopefully they were all good, but we all know that's not true.
Sure. I think getting back to that first presentation I'm going to be doing on getting information from the IRS, that's kind of a first step in moving forward with the IRS. Without those powers of attorney, the representative isn't really going to be able to do his or her job. So it's really important to get the power of attorney sort of done properly and filed immediately to ensure that the case moves forward. Because I've seen cases where, because of small technicalities and the power of attorney not being done properly, the IRS wouldn't be able to speak with representative. And sometimes when people are involved on the representation side, there's short deadlines, and getting involved with the powers of attorney are very important. But I would say just, generally speaking, with the IRS, it's one of those things in which it's a practice, and just sort of having the experience of dealing with the people on both sides. And once one does a good job with the IRS, it tends to, be beneficial in the future as well, because it's a small tax community, and reputations are important.
Sure. Now, on both of the programs, just on a side note, we will have the attendees will have the opportunity to have some Q&A at the end of the presentation, which is great. So I want to remind everybody to bring those questions with them to the seminars, and so which will be great, because I know John will be happy to answer anything that you ask. So John, as we close out, do you have any final remarks on the program, about each of the programs, or just in general?
Well, I look forward to, this is my first time speaking in front of the group here, so I'm honored to be here today, and looking forward to both of these presentations. I think in the case of getting information from the IRS, that's a really important topic in terms of getting started representing taxpayers. And on the charitable contribution side, it's a new space, and if one hasn't done a lot of research, there is a lot of changes in this space that this webinar could get people up to speed pretty efficiently.
Yeah, exactly. Well, John, again, thank you so much for joining us from Rockville. It looks like it's going to be a beautiful day today. And we look forward to seeing you in our upcoming events.
Absolutely. Thanks so much.
Thank you. I want to thank John for joining us this morning and sharing the information on these very important topics. Remember, if you wish to learn more about these issues, you can still register for the 2-hour seminar webinars online at www.msatp.org. Now, the November 7th event is a live course and will be held in Germantown, Maryland. The December 17th event is a live as well as a webinar. The live course is in Owings Mills. Now, remember, the one on this December 17th is a members only event. And so it's discounted, And so you could still go, member or non-member, but if the non-member wishes to go, they need to join to be able to participate. Now, on a side note, I did receive notification from one of our members that I'm going to share, plus about an article I recently read. So the first thing is about IRS audits. Her practice, she's got a pretty large practice, and apparently in the last 3 weeks alone, she has gone through 3 S-Corp audits. So it looks like the IRS is really focusing, you know how a couple years ago they were focused on Schedule C's, where it looks like the IRS is really taking and focusing on S-Corps now. And what she is finding on each of the audits is looking at the retained earnings and the basis. And so what they're doing is looking at the S-Corps on the basis issue, and then of course that will run right into the individual returns. So just be aware that this is something that the IRS is currently focusing on, and that, you know, don't be surprised if you're starting to see an uptick in the S-Corp audits in your practice. Also, I recently got some information, or read some information that about this upcoming seminar season, tax season. The GAO predicts 21% of working individuals are under withholding from their paycheck from 2018. And they are suggesting that we alert our employees and clients about this and consider making a fourth quarter estimate payment. We don't want our clients or our employees to be hit with some kind of underpayment because they didn't pay enough throughout the year. So 21%, that's a pretty hefty number. So again, we've been telling everyone to have that W-4 checkup throughout the year, but you know, seeing it in print, the GAO is already seeing this as a possibility. It scares a little bit. So just wanted to put those two things in thoughts in your mind. And just again, I want to thank our members for continuing to share what they're seeing out there with us, and so we can share it with all of our membership. Now, next week, we're going to address job preparedness, and we're going to have Kate Ladon join us. And for that program, we are going to be moving it to Friday, November 9th at 9 a.m. So next week, we'll see you on Friday instead of Thursday, but it will be at the same time at 9 a.m. Now, I want to tell everyone to have a great day. Enjoy this sunshine. And as we head out down the road, this weekend, we're having our Solo and Small Firm Conference in Bethany Beach. So keeping our fingers crossed that we have great weather. And for those who are coming down to Bethany, I will see you tomorrow. And for those who were not able to attend, I'll see you next week on the program. So have a wonderful day, and we'll talk to you next week.